All right, I believe we are live. So just going to give this a minute here to make sure the stream is up and running. Hi, my sister just walked in. No, go ahead, talk. It's okay. I haven't started yet. Have they done like a review of it? When does it come out? Oh, okay, then probably somebody had already put a review on there. So I'll take a look, see what I can find. But okay. When did it come out? Maybe that's what, 3 weeks? Yeah, it might be. I don't know if it'd be high quality or not. All right. So, welcome, as you can see, to the Nnscra Hot Stove Talk Show. This is not going to be a regular thing that will happen every day. This will just be happening when I kind of have spur of the moment. Um, Yesterday was the finishing up of the three main series, the Tax Layer Truck series, which is going to be renamed. I'll get to that in a moment. Pizza Hut X series and Hershey's Cup series. So now I'm taking a little bit of a break, a bit of an off season, starting to get stuff together for next season, but at the same time, kind of keeping my mornings free. I had considered running a off-season series like I had done with the Winston Super Speedway series when I had the off year, the off season for the past three series before. And I thought, you know what? Instead of doing that, I'm just going to, do a talk show whenever I've got the free time. I'm going to be devoting a little bit more time during the off season to do some gaming videos and everything. Uh, I don't know exactly how long of an off season I'm going to take. I know that a lot of stuff's already in the works for next season and everything, but there's a few things I want to experiment with, see if I can get them to work for the upcoming seasons, and just take a little bit of time off. The Homestead races. I think it was the Hershey's Homestead race on to the season finale at Auto Club. Those four races, I was actually recording and doing the commentary and everything while I was sick. Not only sick, but it also pulled a muscle in my back, so I was having some back problems at the time too. So I was in pain and I was sick, but I wanted to get the videos out for you guys. But yeah, I'm like at the tail end of the cold now, and the back's fine. So anyway, I want to take a little bit of time, a little bit of a rest my voice. One thing that I'm doing is clearing out a lot of the stuff from this past three seasons on my recording laptops. That way I've got more space on there. I was able to clear up about 5 to 6 gigabytes of free space with moving mods out that I'm not going to be using, mods that I am going to be using, etc. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm going to be working on for projects as well before I get the season started, including a new intro. I've already got the background music that I'm going to have for it, but I don't really want to start recording clips for making the intro and putting it together until I've got most of the cars and trucks painted for the upcoming season. And I also am going to work on making a new outro as well, because I think I've been using the same outro for the last three seasons. I know I've used it at least for the last two seasons. But this is the Hot Stove Talk Show. You guys can check out all the hot stove news that's going on in two different venues. Number one is obviously on the Facebook group, Nnscra, Enter 2003 in Gaming Facebook page. Link is in the description of this video down below, as well as to our Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter. Twitter is basically just the venue that I allow people that use Twitter to be able to know when I've got videos uploaded. I basically have that feature that YouTube gives you where you can share to different social medias once you make a video public. But another place is also Discord. Now, I will very readily admit, I don't really use Discord. A lot of people were saying to me, join this Discord group, join that Discord group. I didn't really know a whole lot about Discord, and so I never really went on to it. Well, I believe it's John Arndt has actually put together a Discord group. He apparently knows a lot more about it than I do, and I'm a part of it. I post my videos there, and it is a little bit easier as well for people that don't want to have a Facebook to be able to log into the Discord, to be able to see, okay, there's where the videos are. And then there's also some other very helpful sections that have been put there. One is Nnscra paint schemes, one is Nnscra news, and I'm able to follow in the Nnscra news if someone makes an announcement of they're going to be going to this ride, this sponsor, this team for whatever season, they're going to be replaced by somebody, etc. It helps me to be able to organize things a lot better. But also on the Facebook group, one of the announcement posts is currently a grid. It's a list of drivers and what rides they're currently signed up for whichever team. A lot of people doing a lot of behind the scenes wheeling and dealing of not only charters and rides that they're returning to, but also a lot of team owners out there signing drivers, and we'll get to some of those in just a moment as well. But yeah, if you want to check out on Discord, check out Nnscra News. I don't rightly know. I don't know if there's a feature where I'd be able to put the list of the drivers and everything in there. I'd have to find out from John Arndt if that's possible, and then I could go in and edit it as it went on. But it makes it's actually really cool too, because they've got a feature where they have different roles for different people, and people come in with their different usernames, and you're like, who in the world is this person? Well, they've got it where they actually have, if you click on their name, it shows their roles, and it shows if they're a team owner, if they're a former Nnscra champion, and what drivers they have in what respective series. So you're like, oh, it's that person. Okay, now I can put, a name with that account name and be able to know what's going on. So it's really cool. Like I said, I'm not one that would go out there and put together my own Discord server, but with people that actually know what they're doing that for me, I definitely appreciate that. So I said that we will not be calling it the TaxSlayer Truck Series next season, and that is true. We are going to be having a different sponsor, a different look as well. It's going to be the Nnscra Coors Light Truck Series. Now, there's two reasons why I decided to change it to that specific name. Number one was, well, actually, both of them actually refer to the same thing. The first thing is the banner up underneath the driver's windshield, up at the top of the driver's windshield. The past two seasons, all it says is TaxSlayer on a black background, and it's like, I want it to kind of be showy. I want it to show up and stand out. So I decided, okay, we're going to change the sponsor. We're going to have it be something that's going to be kind of bright looking, so that way people are actually able to see it. That's why Coors Light came into play, because Coors Light's got the light gray, it's got the light blue kind of colors, it's got the bright red colors, and I thought that those colors will look really good. They'll stand out. I've already made the banners for the mod. I've already made the banners and transferred them into the mod, and now I've just got to transfer them over onto my other laptop, so that way it'll be showing up over there. But it looks really good, and it really stands out. So I'm really happy about that. So that's why it turned into that. I was looking into, normally a lot of times when I do stuff like this, I try and find a sponsor that begins with a letter of something, like for Truck Series TaxSlayer TNT. I was looking for something to be, a T-related sponsor that would fit, and I really couldn't find much of anything. As a matter of fact, back when I was trying to come up with a name originally for the Truck Series, I was trying to come up with sponsors, and I ended up resting on TaxSlayer because it's one of the few that I could actually think of that wasn't really in use anywhere else in the 2003 community. So it will be the Coors Light Truck Series. So this will be the second time I'll be changing a sponsor name of the three main series. The first time was, of course, back when I changed from the Almond Joy series to the Pizza Hut X series. But regardless, that's going to be the name of it next season, and it'll have new looking banners and everything, and hopefully it'll be really cool, and it's got new context with the logo and everything. So really excited about that. So I am going to just say this right now. If you have not watched the 3 season finales regarding whichever series you're in, I beg of you, do not continue watching this stream until you have done so, because there are going to be a lot of spoilers contained into this. So just be aware of that, okay? So you've been advised, don't watch this unless you want the spoilers, because there's going to be a lot of them that are going to be going on. So we finished out the season. 5 drivers ended up losing their charters. There's been a lot of wheeling and dealing, a lot of stuff in the works of drivers going down to the 2 lower series and everything. And so let's document that first. The 5 drivers that lost their charters after the end of this last Hershey's Cup Series season were as follows: Leon Alvarez, Jessica Shelton, Blaine Keys, Joshua Sekuli, and Kat Batson. Of those drivers, right now, Jessica Shelton will be returning because Joshua Collard will not be re-signed to Michael Norman Motorsports next season. The 33 charter will actually be going over to the 02 at Retro Racing Enterprises. Kat Batson will be moving down to the Pizza Hut X Series, driving the number 22 for KAB Racing Enterprises. Blaine Keys, there's been no word on what he's doing. I think mid-season, with the struggling year he was having, he basically alluded to that he was going to be retiring at the end of the season. So I don't know if he's going to be coming back in some capacity in the lower 2 series or not. For Joshua Sekuli, the word is that he is going to be going down to the Tax Slayer Truck Series to be joining with his Dodge team of WF9 Motorsports, WF9 Motorsports, along with Hillary Sanchez and Caitlin Sang, the 37 and 73, which have been in the Tax Slayer Truck Series. For Caitlin, it will be 2 years, and for Hillary, it will be well, actually, no. For Caitlin, it'll be 3 years, and for Hillary, it'll be 2 years. No word on what the sponsor is going to be or the number or anything like that, but that's currently the word on what's going on with Sekuli. And then the big one right now, where a lot of the question marks are, is Leon Alvarez. Now, the reason being, team owner Chris Dodd made the announcement a few months ago that CJ Racing was planning on being a 4-car team. It was going to have Chris Dodd in the number 8. It was going to have Kev Shearer in the number 80. It was going to have Tim Walsh returning back to the 15, and they were going to have their 4th driver, using the charter of the 08 of Leon Alvarez, be Chris Dollarton. Right now, though, there's no charter for the 08 team. So that's up in the air. That's a big question mark. There are 2 possible scenarios that I'm seeing here that they might be able to have an opportunity to try and figure out what they could do. But to be honest, I'm only seeing one as a possibility, and that is it all relies on driver James Richardson. Now, James Richardson, if you're watching this, please let me know, because the last comment that I saw on one of my videos from him was about a month ago. According to YouTube, he's been active since 5 days ago, but I have messaged him asking him if he's still active, if he's still watching the series, and if he's going to be coming back. If he's not going to be coming back, then more than likely his charter will be up for grabs, and he finished in the top 37 in the point standings. Now, if Richardson doesn't come back and his charter falls vacant, it is actually up to his team owner, Emmanuel Hartnett, as to where that charter goes next. So if I don't hear from Richardson, you got to bet that there are going to be some people that are going to be contacting Emmanuel Hartnett trying to find out, if they're able to have the 11 charter. If I don't hear back from James Richardson. Now, I'm not going to say, if I don't hear back from James Richardson in 24 hours, his charter is up for grabs. I'm going to give Richardson some time. I'm going to keep tabs on his YouTube channel, see when he's been active and everything. If I see that he's been active every day for the last 3 days and hasn't replied back to my comment, then I'm going to get a pretty good idea. Okay, he's not really following the series anymore. He's not interested, so might as well give the charter to somebody else. So that's one thing that's definitely going to happen. That possibly will be in the works here in the upcoming few weeks. Apologize, I'm a little distracted because I'm currently just typing in quickly another driver that I just found out is returning back to a particular team. It's actually Jordan Anderson coming back to the number 89. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so there's that. Another thing that also is going to be a driver that's going to be coming back that's going to be in a different charter is the 77 of Alex Drayden will not be returning next season. Tweenix Racing's number 77 charter will actually be going to Seth Cole, believe it or not. We're actually putting the Tweenix team back together. So going to be myself, Poteet, and McLeod. Now, Cole Baker is moving over to Fitzwater Australia Racing, bringing the number 18 and his number 18 charter with him. So that leaves the Seth Cole Baker Motorsports team, if you will, basically without a team owner. Now, I'm going to be kind of team ownering the team, but I'm thinking about, and I got to find out if he's interested in this. I'm thinking about talking to Anthony McCrory, having him be the team owner over there, and possibly him having it renamed Kyotech Racing, which, if you guys will remember, was a team that was way back in the day that ended up having Anthony McCrory and Ralph Mason as teammates. Now, if it does get renamed to Kyotech Racing will be the cars of Anthony McCrory, Sean Galligan, and John Cittadino. So that's more than likely going to be what the team will look like. What the team name is going to be, I don't know. But I got to find out if McCurry is going to be willing to take on, the team owner role and find out what name he wants to have. For drivers moving up in the Pizza Hut X Series, from the Pizza Hut X Series, I should say, that finished in the top 5 in the point standings. You've got, of course, the champion, Cody Lamas. No doubt he's moving up to the Hershey's Cup Series, moving back into the number 48 for ML Motorsports. You've got Joshua Osborne. He's moving up to the Hershey's Cup Series, driving the number 70 Castrol GTX Chevy Camaro for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. You've got Jordan Lopez. His backup plan, if he did make it top 5 in the points, was going to be in the 45 for Kev Shear Racing Tech next season Pizza Hut X Series, but nope, he got a charter, so he's moving up to number 79 Asus Toyota Camry for Kev Shear Racing Tech. He'll be a teammate to RJ Reynolds. And you've got Dougie Shears, who finished top 5 in the point standings. He's moving up to the Hershey's Cup Series to drive the number 07 for Michael Norman Motorsports. He's going to be sponsored by Red Bull. I don't know if I posted a picture of Dougie Shears' Red Bull paint scheme that he was going to originally drive for this upcoming season of Pizza Hut X Series or not. If I didn't, then okay. If I did, you guys got a basic view of what the 07 paint scheme for the Hershey's Cup Series is going to look like, because it's basically transferred that paint scheme over to a Hershey's Cup Series ride. The only question mark we have about another driver that was top 5 in the point stage for Pizza Hut X Series is Scott Roush, but I have received word that Kev Shear is in the works of trying to get in touch with Scott Roush, finding out what he wants to do. It is definite, though, that Scott Roush will be moving up to the Hershey's Cup Series, probably in a Toyota for Kev Shear Racing Tech, but no word on the number or on the sponsor. If I were to wager a guess, trying to keep in line with the different numbers they've got there, possibly the 9, possibly the 77, because the 99 is already taken by Levi McIntyre, and the 7 is already taken by Johnny Gardner. So I don't know what they're going to plan to do for a number in that regard, but we're going to have to wait and see. Of course, Scott Roush driving the 38 for the past 2 seasons, the Pizza Hut X Series, and Jake Baskinger drives a 38 up in Hershey's Cup, so that wouldn't be a possibility either for that team. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Another development that has happened is that we have a number change for RJ Reynolds, drove the 69 this past season. Only rookie so far to make it into the Hershey's Cup Series Final Four. He'll be moving over to the number 97 Toyota Camry. We also have Emmanuel Hartnett, who drove the 83 Toyota Camry for the past few seasons. He's actually moving over to the number 20 now for Fire Ice Racing. Going to be a Chevrolet sponsored by Lowe's. We've already documented about Chris Dodd moving from the 88 over to the 8. We also talked about this in the last few Hershey's Cup Series races, and that is that Brooke Allen, the champion of the Hershey's Cup Series this past season, is moving down to the Pizza Hut X Series. Her number 3 going to be driven by Holly Davis next year. Up to this point, Holly Davis is one of 4 confirmed rookies that will battle for Rookie of the Year honors next season, Davis being one, Joshua Osborne being another, Lopez, and Dougie Shears. I ended up putting down John Cittadino as a rookie, and I failed to realize that he actually ran full-time back in both seasons 1 and 2 of the Hershey's Cup Series. So he more than exceeded the 10 maximum races that you can run in a Hershey's Cup Series race to be eligible for Rookie of the Year. So Cittadino, eliminate him from that. He will not be battling for Rookie of the Year honors. If Scott Roush, which obviously he's going to, when he comes up to the Hershey's Cup Series, he also would be in the rookie class. So right now it's looking like we've got at least 5 drivers that will be battling for Rookie of the Year honors next year. See, there was one other thing I wanted to touch on here in terms of returning drivers and whatnot. And who was? Oh, yes. We are going to have, obviously, moving over to the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series 18 mod. Uh, there's only really four. There are four manufacturers out there. Toyota, which Kevshire Racing Tech right now is the only team that's driving those. Chevy, which a lot of drivers are driving. Ford, there are a couple of those out there. You got Young Motorsports with Dylan Young, JT Bryant, Cody Smart. You've also got Levi McIntyre, who's now joining that team. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Keith Batson's going to be driving a Ford for KEB Racing Enterprises. And I think I ended up hearing that Daniel Voiles is going to be driving a Ford as well. So you've got some Fords out there, but there's going to be some Dodges out there as well. Trent Dunham, Dallas McIntosh for Sega Motorsports. They are only a two-car team now with Blaine Keys losing his charter last year, but they will be driving Dodges next season. So that will be pretty cool. And I believe Brandon Gonzalez is going to still be in a Nissan Maxima next year as well in his number 23. So right now, the drivers that I have currently on the list that are currently confirmed and have locked up charter spots are Trent Dunham in the 1, Dylan Young in the 2, Holly Davis in the 3, Daniel Gilbert in the 4, Johnny Gardner in the 7, which is getting new sponsorship, by the way, Chris Dodd in the 8, Cody Smart in the 12, Dallas McIntosh the 14, 15 of Tim Walsh, 18 of Cole Baker, 20 of Emmanuel Hartnett, 21 of Joseph Wrigley, 22 of JT Bryant, Brandon Gonzalez in the 23, Benny Watson in the 24, Benjamin Miles 25, 26 of Daniel Voiles, 29 of Kyle Keith, 31 of Dylan Poteet, the 38 of Jake Baskinger, 39 Keith Batson, 44 of Sean Galligan, the 48 of Cody Lamas, James McLeod in the 51, Shane Lake in the 55, Zachary Fitzwater in the 59, Anthony McCurry in the 61, Joshua Osborne in the 70, John Cittadino in the 72, Jordan Lopez in the 79, Kev Shear in the 80, Chris Dollerton, question mark, in the 83, Jordan Anderson in the 89, RJ Reynolds 97, Seth Cole in the 98, Levi McIntyre 99, Jessica Shelton in the 02, Charles Sanford in the 03, John Arndt in the 05, Dougie Shears in the 07, and Kyle Matthews in the 09. Right now, waiting for Scott Roush, the word from Scott Roush, and I believe the only other driver that we're basically waiting on is finding out what James Richardson is going to do. If he doesn't do anything, that charter would at some point be up for grabs. So let's move down to the Pizza Hut X Series then. We've got some drivers that have announced that they're moving up from the Tax Slayer Truck Series to the Pizza Hut X Series via being top 5 on the point stands at the end of this past Tax Slayer Truck Series year, or I should say the Coors Light Truck Series. It's going to take me a while to get used to saying that, just like it did for Almond Joy to Pizza Hut X. But right now, of the 5 drivers that finished top 5, the eventual champion, Nick Johnson, Ace Garcia, Tony Green, Heather Gallant, and Patrick Curtis, only one we know of that's moving up to the Pizza Hut X Series, and that is Patrick Curtis. He's going to be moving up to the number 48 for MM Motorsports, the ride left vacant by the defending champion of the series, Cody Lamas. So we know Patrick Curtis is going to be up there. I also know that Kev Shearer at Kev Shearer Racing Tech is currently trying to get in touch with two-time Truck Series champion Nick Johnson to try and sign him. Now, Kev Shearer Racing Tech's in a little bit of turmoil right now because they had lined up for next season, provided they didn't finish top 5 in the points, Ryan George in the 4, Nick Gunther in the 55, 38 of Scott Roush, 45 of Jordan Lopez. But 2 of those guys are moving up. 38 of Roush and the 45 of Lopez. So now Kev Shearer Racing Tech is having to fill in 2 vacant areas, and we don't even know if they're going to be keeping those 2 rides. We don't really know what's going on with that whole area. We don't know if it's going to be those numbers. So, a lot out of the Kev Shearer Racing Tech team still yet to come. The only 2 stalwart areas that we know of is, number 1, they're going to have the 4 of Ryan George, and they're going to have the 55 of Nick Gunther, who will be a rookie in that series this upcoming season. We've also know that Backmarker Motorsports currently is coming in with a very familiar looking lineup. You're going to have Elijah Gilbert moving down to the Pizza Hut X Series once again, a former champion there, just coming off his Rookie of the Year season in the Hershey's Cup Series. He'll be in the number 66 Payday Chevrolet. James Shelley will stay in the 71. Charles Jackson will be moving over to the 78 car now, still sponsored by Klondike, and Carson Gum will still be in the 99. You look at Michael Norman Motorsports, little bit of a different look for them. 2-time winner last season, Nathan Hudson. He's going to be driving the number 1 car now, sponsored by the Toronto Blue Jays. Brooke Allen, the defending Hershey's Cup Series champ, will be down now in the Pizza Hut X Series in the number 3. Bear in mind, Brooke Allen is a former winner in the Pizza Hut X Series, her very first win coming back at Dover when she drove the number 0 Reynolds Wrap Chevrolet. The number 5, formerly driven by Phil Parker, will now be driven by rookie Andrew Davis. Austin LaPlante, who was a contender for the championship back in season 3 of the Pizza Hut X Series, he will be moving into the number 7 for Michael Norman Motorsports, replacing Dougie Shears, who's moving up, and Matt McIntyre. He will be back in the number 9, coming off a career year in the Pizza Hut X Series as well, sponsored by Liberty University. We've also got Gardner Racing. They look somewhat the same, but there is a little bit of difference as well with the team, too. You've got Cole Deaver. He's returning back to the number 15. I believe they're getting new sponsorship with Wrangler, but I'm not 100% certain on that. You've also got Angel Navarro. Now, Navarro is moving, I think, over to the 44. He was originally in the 97. I think he's moving to the 44, but I'm hearing some other numbers being thrown around there as well, like 07. So I'm not 100% certain what number he's actually going to be in, but it's going to be one of those 3, 97, 44, 07, I think. He may have changed it again. I don't know. But there's no confirmed on that. Rob Evans will be driving the number 88 as he'll be making his rookie debut in the Pizza Hut X Series. Zach Flickinger will be returning back to the number 96, sponsored by Brandt, and I believe Rockstar is the other sponsor for that car, but I'm not 100% certain. I have to look at the paint scheme. Then you've got ML Motorsports. We've already documented that the 48 is going to be filled in by Patrick Curtis. Alex Gray's coming back to the 0, and Jessica Miles is going to be back in the 25. Strigley Motorsports had a lot of wins last season, 2 with Nathan Hudson, 2 with Diego Yepes. They also had a win with Eli Bright. The lone man out that didn't win was Ben Braley. Now, at this point in time, I believe they have nobody signed to their team, but they'll be coming back with the 12, 21, 95, and 02. So you want to ride? Get in touch with Joseph Strigley, I guess. Smart Motorsports, which had 3 trucks down in the Texlayer Truck Series, Coors Light Truck Series, whatever you have you, last season. They're moving up to the Pizza Hut X Series as well. So far, I know of them being a 2-car team. Diego Yepes, winner twice in the Pizza Hut X Series last season. He'll be coming back, but he'll be in the number 19 for Smart Motorsports. And I also know that Smart Motorsports is putting together another team. I've heard of the sponsorship, but they haven't told me the number that it's going to be. At least I don't think they have. I'd have to double check, but I don't remember seeing the number. Let me actually look and see if the number was given in the news post. The sponsor is a Dragon Ball Z sponsor, I believe. Let me double check here and just see if the number was given. Because if it was, then I'm just stupid and didn't write it down. Let's see. It is... Oh, it's the number 09. Okay. Yep, it's the number 09. I didn't even see that. Oh, I wrote it down. Okay. Wow, I'm stupid. It is written down here. Yeah, Sky Commons, who actually drove the 99 for Smart Motorsports in the Coors Light Truck Series last season, will be driving the number 09 Dragon Ball Z Ford Mustang for Smart Motorsports next season in the Pizza Hut X Series. So that will be another driver added to the rookie class. All right, so moving on here. Let's see. And by the way, yes, Carter, I am racing tonight, even though I hate Pocono with a burning passion. Next team, KB Racing Enterprises, going to be having a single car team. Kat Batson, who lost her charter this past season of Hershey's Cup, going to be driving the number 22. No word on the sponsor or the manufacturer there. Flying Aces Racing, they're coming back looking somewhat similar. The 24 going to be driven by Garrett Sidner, and the 05 being driven by Jay Jefferson. Fitzwater Australia Racing, they've got a couple drivers returning, but they have a little bit of a different look as well with their lineup. You've got Kyle Langland. He's moving from the 77 to the 30. You've got Phil Parker moving from Michael Norton Motorsports to the 31. And then you've got Daniel Olson, who was in the 32 last season in a Dodge. Well, he's going to be in a Chevy this year because it's going all Chevy, is Fitzwater Australia Racing for this season. I believe the only other team that's out there right now that has a lined up driver is Q-Man Motorsports, and that's Quentin Moore trying to still get his first win. So close to Talladega last year, but he'll be back in the number 89 next season, and it's a different look as well. Nice kind of off gray and gold Morgan Shepherd throwback. Looks really nice. Now we move on to the Coors Light Truck Series of the drivers that are lined up and everything. A big announcement that came out just about an hour ago is that what was normally called William Brock Motorsports is now being called Full Frontal Motorsports. They're coming back with the exact same lineup they had last season. Wyatt Walker back in the 13 Caterpillar car. Andrew Miller back in the number 23 Home Depot car, or truck in this case, I should say. Also Henry Williams in the number 62 Noss Chevrolet, and Nathan Stapleton, who was so close to making it into that Final Four back at Homestead. He'll be back in the number 92 Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet. So they're going to look the same. Another team that's going to look the same is Haas Racing. Former Hershey's Cup Series champion Matt Haas and his brother Michael Haas back in the 8 and the 28. You've got Michael Norman Motorsports. They're going to be having a two-car team next season with the 3 and the 33. Two different drivers, though. Charlie Buxton, who was a former Pizza Hut X Series driver, was, I think, a 3-time winner there in that season. He'll be driving the number 3. And Caleb Farrell, who was, which season was it? I want to say it was season 5 of Hershey's Cup. Was a rookie that year, ended up going to victory lane at, I think it was Hillside, when he drove for Srigley Motorsports. Srigley took the ride, the charter last season, and now Caleb Farrell is back. He'll be in a rookie season in the 33 in the trucks with Michael Norman Motorsports, so we'll see how he does there. Flying Aces Racing, who really struggled last season, they've got currently 2 drivers lined up. They've got the number 24 car, which will be driven by J.J. Roberts, making his rookie debut. And another rookie, Nathan Ormond, will be driving the number 05. You've got, I've already mentioned, the WF9 Motorsports team with Caitlin Sang and Hillary Sanchez. Both those drivers returning to their respective 37 and 73 rides. And they will probably be joined, it's sounding like, by a third entry for that team with former Hershey's Cup Series driver Joshua Sakuli. Monster Motorsports is a new team that's being put together where they will have the number 77 and the number 07. So far, only car that's been filled is the number 77 with rookie Sebastian, and I hope I'm saying this right, Kukalon? I think that, or Susalon? I don't know if it's a long C, short C, a silent C, I don't know. But that's the case there. Jake Moss, who drove the number 24 for Flying Aces Racing last season. He's going to be driving for his own team this year in the number 85. And Preston Plord, Easton Barber, they will be teammates with Kev Shearer Racing Tech. Preston Plord had a really struggling year last year, but he's going to be coming back, sponsored by Pepsi, and I believe that's a Dodge team this year. And Easton Barber, who was a former winner from last season, winning at Daytona and somewhere else. I think it was a 2-time winner. He'll be driving the number 0, or 00 rather, Dodge, out of Kev Shearer Racing Tech as well. We've also got Smart Motorsports, who had the 19, 29, 99 last year with Carter Friesen. Wait, was it Carter? No. Isaac Nichols, Jake Smith, and Sky Collins. They're going to be a 4-truck team this season. So far, no word on what the drivers are going to be, though. We've got the 19, the 29, the 99, and they'll be joined by the 09, which will be sponsored by Target. We also have a truck team that's being put together by Gardner Qualls Motorsports. Of course, last season they had Brandon Joy in the 70, Alex Hawkins in the 7. Well, this year they're coming in with 4 cars. They've got the number 9, which is a Chase Elliott looking scheme. They've got the number 47, which is an AJ Allmendinger looking scheme. They've got the number 95, which is a Casey Kane looking scheme. And the what's the other number? I had it here. I thought it was a 4-car team, a 4-truck team. Maybe it's only 3. I've only got 3 down here. Okay, so I guess it is only 3. So far, the only driver that's been signed to that team is Tyler Deaver, who drove the number 30 for Gardner Racing the last couple of seasons. He'll be in the number 9 car, so the 4795. We're going to have to see where that ends up. We've also got, I mentioned Jake Moss in the 85. Well, he's also got a second car, the 53 for Climatech Motorsports. Then we've also got Mason Wood, who's going to own a team, Hollywood Motorsports, the number 52 truck. As well as the number 83 truck, which is obviously owned by Dollarton Motorsports. They've had Joshua Hyatt and Joseph Romero in that truck the last 2 seasons. Aside from that, I believe that's all of the drivers and rides currently that are being put together for the Tax Slayer Truck Series. So, see if there's anything I'm missing here. I don't think so. Nope, not that I'm seeing. Okay, so basically, that's what I've got for my list right now. Okay, so Kukalon. Kukalon? Is that how it's pronounced? I think it's Kukalon. I think that's how they just showed it to me for the pronunciation of the name. Okay, all right. Just got a notification that the 70 car, formerly driven by Joshua Osborne in Pizza X Series, the driver has been announced for that. Oh, okay. I had heard about this happening, and I didn't know what number it was actually going to be. So, Gene Sanford is going to be the new driver of the number 70 car for Pizza X Series, replacing Osborne. So, alrighty. So, let me make that change. 70 car. Now, I am going to also say this too. I am keeping track of all this on 2 different things. I'm keeping track of it on a notepad on my own computer, and I am also keeping track of it on. Oh shoot, there's another name I forgot to put on here too. I'm also keeping track of it on Facebook on a announcement post. So please bear with me if one list does not look the same as another list, and I might make some mistakes. I don't think I will, but I'm just leaving that disclaimer open in case it does happen. All right. So looks like we've got the team put together for Joanna Atwood Motorsports, at least for the 2-car team they've had, unless they end up putting up other cars in their team. But Gene Sanford will be at 70. She'll be making her rookie debut in the PDX series. And Mason Wood, who drove the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing last year, he's actually moving over to the number 27. I did not announce that because that was actually over on the Facebook post rather than in my actual personal notepad. So, okay, let me just see here. Ba, 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 ba. Just double checking here. I apologize for the pause. I am looking to see. Okay, there's another comment here, so let me just quickly check and see what that is. And then I'll check the comments here. All right, so it is Kukalon. Okay. All right, I will try to remember that. I'm actually going to take your guy's pronunciation and put it beside his name. So when I look at the driver's list, I will actually pronounce it correctly because knowing me, I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly. who was it? Somebody this past season and I kept pronouncing it wrong. And I knew I was pronouncing it wrong, and then I would try and correct myself, and then I would go right back to saying it the wrong way. And I don't recall whose name it was, but every single time I thought, why are you saying it this way? Because I had been told the correct way to pronounce it, and I still ended up making the mistake. Let me see who it even was, if I can even find out who it was. Uh, Probably not going to be able to find them. Oh, that's who it was. It was I ended up starting out calling the driver of the six Ying Canario, and then I ended up finding out later on that it was Ying Canario, and so I kind of made a mental note in my mind of, oh, that's how I need to say it, and I think I said it right most of the time during the playoffs, but yeah. So aside from that, uh, let's see. Okay, let me just come on, load Facebook. Okay, all right. Yeah, I got a message from Charles saying that I forgot to make an announcement about the O3 and the Pizza Hut X series, but apparently he and Qualls worked out that Gene Sanford is going to be in the 70 car for Pizza Hut X. So, all right, I just had to follow up on that and make sure that I wasn't making a mistake on that. Okay, so aside from that, I guess what I could do is show off some of the paint schemes that I've currently been working on. A lot of stuff was going on during not quite after All-Star break. I guess when we were getting close to the playoffs, I was kind of in the works of putting stuff together. So some schemes have already been put together. So I guess what I'll do is I'll show you guys some of the paint schemes that I'm working out. Let me show you some of the ones I've got absolutely to hand right now, because I'd have to go onto my external drive to show you some of the other ones. Right. So this was one that actually was just requested today, and got it done. So this is the ride for Michael Norman Motorsports that Austin LaPlante will be driving next season. LaPlante made his rookie debut FedEx Series in a Ford, drove the 16 Lily Diabetes Ford for Roush Fenway Racing back in season 3. But he'll be in a Chevy now for Michael Norman. So it's a throwback to Bill Elliott's 2000 scheme. So there's that. And the driver that he's replacing down there is Dougie Shears. And Shears, like I said, is moving up to Hershey's Cup in the 07 with Red Bull, which has been an old sponsor of Dougie Shears. If you guys followed back in the Snickers Cup series, he was the number 83 Red Bull Toyota, winning the inaugural season of the Snickers Cup series. And that's a look at the car that you'll see on track for him. I'm going to look into making a secondary sponsor, a secondary scheme of Little Caesars as well. For Hershey's Cup Series next season, drivers are allowed a scheme and a secondary. Pizza Hut X Series and trucks, for the most part, it's going to be a scheme per car. So, all right, let's see. What other cars can I show you guys right off the cuff that I've made? This one. Yep. Okay, this is RJ Reynolds. He's sponsored by KFC for his primary, but then he's also sponsored by, and this is not a joke, this is legitimately a sponsor, Shearer's Potato Chips. And that's what it'll look like. One of the very few Toyota Camrys we'll see on track in Hershey's Cup next season, although we only had 2 Toyota Camrys this past season with Hartnett and Richardson. Okay, let's see what else we got here. This is a secondary sponsor for Cashier. His primary is going to be Nutella, but he's going to have a secondary of Sheets. That's that car out of CJ Racing. Okay, here's one. This is actually a truck for the Coors Light Truck Series. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to get to see the fancy banner above the windshield because it's actually in the mod, so you only see it when the truck's actually on track. But this is the number 29 Auto Trader Ford F Series that'll be driving for a Smart Motorsports. Driver has been announced for it. Let's see. Okay, I told you that there was like a really nice looking number 89 that Quentin Moore is driving next season for the Pizza Hut X Series. And that is this kind of a gold and grayish scheme. Let's see. Okay, Diego Yepes, two-time winner in the Pizza Hut X Series last season. Going to be driving for Smart Motorsports in the Pizza Hut X Series this year. The number 19. There it is. The number 19 Cooper Standard Ford Mustang. And of course, he'll be a teammate to Sky Commons this upcoming year. So look at Nathan Hudson's car for next season. Hudson moving over to the one from Michael Norman Motorsports in the Pizza Hut X Series. I mentioned he was sponsored by Toronto Jays, and so there you go. Kind of a mixture of not only the Toronto Blue Jays, but the fact that he is from England. So throwing a little bit of the Union Jack on the front of his Camaro. Also keeping the Whataburger sponsor that Chris Darton had last season, and then throwing in Sailor Moon there as well. I remember back, was it Hershey's Cup or was it Snickers Cup? Where he drove, and that is, drove a number 6 Mercedes Benz. I think he was a teammate at the time to Daniel Voiles. They had another driver too that was on the team. I think that was when they all drove for Anime Racing Team. I'm trying to remember who that other driver was, and I'm not pulling it in right off the top of my head, but pretty sure that it was a 3-car team. Okay, here's a fourth entry for Smart Motorsports truck team. Told you they were having the 19, 29, 99. And here is the 09, sponsored by Target. Let's see, what else? Do I have any else other that are on here? Oh, this is a secondary sponsor for Jessica Shelton. Her primary is going to be Mountain Dew Spiked, but she's also got the secondary sponsor of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Kind of a throwback there to the car that Chase Elliott drove back at Bristol. Here's a couple. I'll actually show these back to back. These are schemes that Cody Lamas is going to be driving for ML Motorsports, although they don't have the Hershey's Cup Series contingencies on them right now. But 48 Florida Panthers, and then there's another one there too. It's the away and home colors. But I'll have to put the Hershey's contigs on them because I made those cars for him without them at the time because he's actually having custom die-cast put together of those. I think I've already shown you guys this on Facebook, but here's John Cittadino's number 72 for, I'm guessing it's going to be Kyotech Racing, sponsored by Red Dead Redemption 2. He's also sponsored by Canada Dry back there. That's a little bit of a joke back to NSR. Let me see. There was Jordan Lopez's car, but we're not going to show that because it doesn't really matter. So that's his Pizza Hut X Series car. I actually do have his Hershey's Cup Series car done too, but I have not rendered it. Probably see that in another episode of this. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not it. Okay, I said that Nissan Maxima was going to be in Hershey's Cup this year, regardless of the fact we're going to the Monster Energy 18 mod, and there it is. Actually, took the Toyota and customized it to look like a Nissan. So Brandon will still be driving that car. A little different look on the number and everything, but still a good looking car. The Splatoon with the paint everywhere. Believe. Oh, nope, that's not it. It's not a render of it anyway. I thought it was a render of Shelly's car for next season. Shelly going to be driving a chromish looking car with his Izzy Soda sponsorship. I said that Jessica Shelton had a primary sponsor of Mountain Dew Spiked. There that is. Let me see. Do I have any others here, or do I have to go to my external now? I'm clicking through the pictures, so it's taking me a little time to see what actually is a promo picture and what isn't. I think I've reached the end of what I have on here. Yeah, I think I've gotten down to the end. Yep, I did. All right, so let me see if I could quickly find you some other renders of cars from this upcoming year. I know there's some other ones out there. All right, let me look here and see what I have. I don't think I've rendered Trent Dunham or Dallas McIntosh's Dodges, so I can't show you those. I think I've rendered. Yes, I have. Okay. Is this both of them? Wait a minute. Okay, there's that one. Where's the other one? All right, well, this is Dylan Young's. I don't know if this could be his primary or secondary. I think it's his primary. But bringing back the Hooters sponsorship. Now you'll notice down over near the rear wheel, there's Giordano's. That's actually, I believe, his other sponsor. And I thought I had a render of it. But I'm looking here, and it doesn't appear that I do, which is bad. I do have the car done, but I don't have it rendered. Okay. Okay, here's the primary and secondaries for Charles Sanford next year. Boy, I don't understand why when I click on screen share, this little button keeps getting in the way. There we go. There's Charles Sanford's primary, I think. It's either his primary or secondary. I'll have to find out from which one. Reese's Whips. And then his other one is GoBowling.com. The Ricky Stenhouse Jr. version on a Chevrolet. Oh, here is Charlie Buxton's number 3 truck for Michael Norman Motorsports next year. Sponsorship of Wrangler in the Coors Light Truck Series. Okay, here's Holly Davis's Hershey's Cup Series ride next year as a rookie, replacing the former champion Brooke Allen. Going to be sponsored by Budweiser and Holly Davis, another Brit, so we've incorporated Union Jack on the side of the race car. Oh, there was actually a good picture there too. I don't know why I stopped screen sharing. Could have showed this other one too. I'll show it anyway. There's another look at it. A little better aerial view of it. All right, so we mentioned that Brooke Allen is going down to the Pizza Hut X Series, the defending Hershey's Cup Series champ. And this is the ride that she'll be in, the number 3 Bullet Club Chevrolet. It's a very busy paint scheme. I kind of want to see what that one looks like on a night track. Probably look pretty cool. Okay. We've got Daniel Gilbert, who's returning to number 4 for Michael Norman Motorsports next season. There's his number 4 Outback Steakhouse Chevrolet Camaro. And the reason I keep sharing and unsharing is because there's a lot of other cars that are not part of this, and I don't want to get people all confused and everything. Mentioned that Kev Shearer has at least 2 drivers he knows that he's going to have for his team next season. That's one of the cars there. The 4 of Ryan George. Team moving from, I didn't mention this, I don't think, that the team's moving from Chevrolet, or from Ford over to Chevrolet next year. Let me just check and see if these are back-to-back. Yes, they are. Okay, so John Arndt for Flying Aces Racing. Got his primary and secondary here. The Reddit scheme on his 05. I think some of these have been rendered prior to me fixing the numbers. So some of these numbers on the side look kind of big. So they are fixed, though. I went through ones that I had messed up on the numbers and fixed them. And then there's his Zaxby's car. I think the next car that I'd be showing would be Andrew Davis's number 5. Yes, it is. There it is. Andrew Davis's number 5 Budweiser Chevrolet. Let's see. Next car. I got a lot of cars I got to go through here, and oh no, that's not one. Okay, let me see if these are back to back. No, they're not. Okay, there's 2 pictures in between, so I'll just quickly skip them. But here's Chris Dodd, former Hershey's Cup Series champions primary, with Lay's sour cream and onion potato chips. And then if we just skip a couple forward, there's his secondary sponsorship of IKEA. And like an idiot, I could have kept sharing. Well, actually, is there a better look at that? No, there isn't. Okay, so next up we've got Kyle Matthews for Retro Racing Enterprises. His primary, the Kings Island Chevy Camaro. And then if we skip a couple of clicks over, there's his secondary, the Mellow Yellow 09. I think this is one with the fixed number. I think the other one is one that I actually had to fix. Oh, there's Matt McIntyre's number 9 for next season. The Liberty University Chevy Camaro. It's got a interesting look to it. Kind of a William Byron, Jeff Gordon mesh. But it's cool. It stands out. I like it. Not sure I'm going to be able to get through all of these. There's a lot of them. Nope. 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 A lot of these are from last season, too. I think this is one. Yeah. From this season. Yes, it is. This is Cody Smart's number 12 Snap-on for Young Motorsports. All right, here's one of the cars for Srigley Motorsports in the Pizza Hut X Series next year. All four of his cars sponsored by Pepsi in some way. And so the number 12 is sponsored by Pepsi Twist. You'll see a similar look to most of the other Wrigley Motorsports cars for the Pizza Hut X Series. Okay, these are pictures of Dallas McIntosh when he was in a Chevy, but he's not in a Chevy anymore. Okay, there are both pictures of Tim Walsh's cars for next season, but we're gonna have to skip some pictures to get from one to the other. There's the primary, the similar look to last year's Honey Made graham crackers paint scheme. And then he'll have the secondary of 5-Hour Energy. On his number 15, throwback to one of the first rides he had when he drove the 15 5-Hour Energy Toyota Camry back in the Snickers Cup Series. All right, let's see what we have next. I think... Did I do a render of the other one? Yes, I did. Wow. Okay. So here's the number 20 of Emmanuel Hartnett's. There it is, the Lowe's Chevy Camaro. And then his secondary, right there, sponsored by Siemens. Let's see. I think JT Bryant's is next. Oh, nope, it's not. It's another of the Wrigley Motorsports Pepsi cars. There it is. This one's going to be sponsored by Pepsi Jazz, the number 21, formerly driven by Diego Yepes. There's JT Bryant's car. Now, I think I just saw that Dylan Young is watching this, and I think Johnny Gardner is watching this as well, and I think both of them were around at the time. I think you guys will recognize this scheme for JT Bryant. Back when Baker Gardner Motorsports was going on in the IMRC lights, JT Bryant drove a number, I think it was 99, Hawaiian Punch car. And so a little bit of a throwback to those days is what Bryant's going to have for his primary next season. I don't think I've done a secondary for Bryant. No, I haven't. Okay, let's see. Is there a better picture of that? Okay, apparently not. Apparently Is that the right one? That is the right one. Okay. So here is Benny Watson, 4-time winner last season. Here's his primary, the Chick-fil-A number 24. Another one that I had actually fixed the number after I had rendered this. The number looks really low here, but it's actually correct on the actual car, so don't worry. And there is the secondary Napa scheme. That one actually, I think, has the fixed 24 number. And might as well move to the next one here because there's Benjamin Miles, number 25, Napa car. I'm trying to see if I can have it where, if I put together another secondary scheme for Miles, where Watson will drive his Napa car one race, and then Miles will drive his Napa car the other race, so we don't have two Napa cars on the track at the same time. But at this point in time, I don't have a secondary sponsor yet for Benjamin Miles. So once we get one, we'll go from there. I did make a scheme for Dylan Poteet, but I found out from him that he and McLeod want to make their own schemes, so I won't bother showing the schemes I had made for those two. Okay, here is the 33 truck for Michael Laurin Motorsports that Caleb Farrell will be driving next season. Napa Auto Parts, almost kind of similar to the Wrangler scheme. It's just kind of like a reverse, but it's cool. I like the blue and yellow, and I think both trucks, if I had like a render of them together, they look good together. I haven't put the name on there yet, though. That's one thing I am going to have to do, so I'll have to remember that. Okay, we've got next up, I think, is Baskinger. Yes, it is. Baskinger. I don't know if his sponsor is going to stay the same or not. I think it is, but I'm not certain. Because Dougie Shears is running Red Bull, so we may end up having two Red Bull cars on the track at the same time. Because Jake Baskinger, I think, was planning to be running Red Bull as well. It is number 38, announcing that this season will be his last season with Flying Aces Racing, coming up just short for winning the championship this past season. There's Scott Roush's cars if he had not gotten a charter for next season, which he did, so we won't bother to show those. The next car is going to be Sean Galligan's, but I don't know if I did a render of his new car or not. Survey says, no, I did not. I did an old car and then I redid it because I didn't like what I had done. And I have not rendered his brand new paint scheme, so can't show that. There's the car I did for McLeod, but like I said, he and Poteet are doing their own schemes, so can't really show those. There's the number 55 that Nick Gunther is going to be driving for Kev Shear Racing Tech next year. Penn State and is it Babolat? 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 I don't know. Babolat? It's a tennis company. That's all I know. I don't play tennis, so I wouldn't have any idea. Okay, this one's gonna look weird because the numbers are gonna look weird. They don't look lined up, but they're both fixed. I've fixed all these cars, so don't worry about it. It's just the way that I timing of my rendering. Zachary Fitzwater returning back to the 59 for Fitzwater Australia Racing. Gonna have the same kind of looking throwback scheme, the Joey Logano looking throwback Pennzoil car, and secondary sponsor will be Auto Trader on the 59 car. The next one, I believe, is going to be Anthony McCurry. Yes, it is. Anthony McCurry plays this game a lot, and most of the time you'll notice that Backmarker Motors, or not Backmarker, Sifco Baker Motorsports was revolved around video games. Still is. Sean Gallagher is sponsored by GT Sport, Sean Citadino by Red Dead Redemption 2, and Anthony McCurry by Paladins on his number 61 for the upcoming year. Former Hershey's Cup Series champion, the inaugural Hershey's Cup Series champion. Now, you're not going to see the full effect of this race car, but you'll get to see at least what the basic look of it is. Elijah Gilbert, the winner of the Rookie of the Year honors for the Hershey's Cup Series this past year, and former Pizza Hut X Series champion. This is the ride he'll drive in the Pizza Hut X Series this upcoming year. Now, you'll notice on the side of the race car, there's orange and there's blue. Now, picture in your mind the blue turning orange and the orange turning blue on the racetrack. Yeah, there's like a special chrome thing that I was shown, and I've made it that way so that way the car actually changes colors on the racetrack when it's driving. So you can't see it in the render, but it's a thing that's going to happen once this car actually gets on track. So that's a cool thing. Okay. Oh, look at that. There's all of Kev Shear's NSR cars. Alrighty. Next. Oh, is that it? Is that the car? Yep, that's the car. I think. Doesn't have the updated contigs on it, though, so maybe it isn't. I think it is, though. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have the Blame Shelley insurance contig on it, so I must have rendered this before I had changed the contigs. But this is the car that James Shelley's going to drive for next season for Backmarker Motorsports in the Pizza Hut X Series. Where it says Coors Light Pole Award, though, should be the Blame Shelley Pole Award. And I guess I hadn't updated the contigs at that point when I rendered the car. I'll have to double check and make sure that it's actually correct. Because it looked like that was the correct number font, too. Yeah, I think it is. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's not the correct. It's that base, though, I'm pretty sure. So, might have been an error on my part in not recognizing that was the wrong render, but similar to that anyway. Charles Jackson two-time winner last season in the Pizza Hut X Series. There is his number 78 Klondike Chevy Camaro. Yeah, I don't think that was the correct James Shelley render because it didn't look like the same number font. It's the same base though, so. Okay, I showed you Kev Shearer's secondary sponsor of Sheets. Here's the primary car, the Nutella car. This is actually a throwback to when Kev Shearer raced in the Nnscra Super Speedway Series. Went to Victory Lane, ended up making it into the playoffs, and chose to run a Ruby Tuesdays scheme that was based off of this base. So, a little bit of a fun fact for you there. Okay, now I said at the top of the program, there's all that questioning about what's going to happen as far as that charter that they need for CJ Racing for Chris Dollerton to be able to race. But if they end up getting the charter, Chris Dollerton is going to be sponsored by Whataburger on his number 83. And then he's also got the secondary sponsor of Texas Christian University, TCU. I hope it's Texas Christian University. Otherwise, I'm going to sound like an absolute idiot. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, I think there is. I think there's two more Strigley Motorsports cars, and I know I've got at least Levi McIntyre's car I still haven't shown. So here's another Strigley Motorsports car. Pepsi Max, going to be the sponsor on the 95. So we've had Pepsi Twist, Pepsi Jazz, and Pepsi Max. Try and guess what the last one's going to be on the 02 before I show it. Okay, I'm going to go through and manually look here because I got to go through all these 98s that are all my cars before I can actually get to the next one. Okay, here's the next one. Told you I had Levi McIntyre's car in here. I loved doing this scheme before, and it looks just as cool now, putting it on the new mod. The Captain America Marvel Ford, now out of Young Motorsports, merging back with that team. Carson Gum was sponsored by the Weather Channel last year in what was a career year for him in the Pizza Hut X Series. Well, this year he's going to be sponsored by something a little brighter, Toontown Rewritten. And it was kind of cool because if you notice around the front wheel, there's kind of like a gear thing there. That was actually part of a paint scheme. I don't remember whose paint scheme it was, but I'm like, hey, that looks like a cog gear, so it fits really nicely with the paint scheme. Is that a... Nope, that's not an updated truck. All right, let me see if I can find that 02. Because I don't think I showed that. Might actually not be here. Where in the world is that? Oh, did I save it as another? Oh, there it is. I skipped over it accidentally. So did you guys guess what that other Pepsi sponsor is on the 02? Well, it is a Pepsi sponsor, and it is Pepsi Next on the 02 Mustang. So you got Pepsi Next, Pepsi Jazz, Pepsi Max, and Pepsi Twist. All Pepsi cars for next year for Strigley Motorsports. And that is, I believe, all I've got for renders anyway. There are other cars that I have put together and everything, and I have in the game, but the thing of it is, I don't think I can load up my game and show it to you. So, yeah. I think that's it. Let me just double check. Because if that's it, I might end up ending off this thing here. Okay, I just saw that Zach Winkle is... I don't know what Pepsi Jazz is, Kev. I just know it's this Pepsi thing. I don't have a clue what it is. I think it's there were three sponsors. Or three flavors. One was black cherry. I think one was like a caramel, and I don't remember what the other flavor was for Pepsi Jazz. I think it's like an old throwback Pepsi sponsor. All right. Zach Winkle said he's returning to the number 90 next year, but I don't know yet. I don't think anything's been announced from Flickinger Racing Development. Oh, yes, it has. Yeah, that's right. Flickinger Racing Development has the 10 and the 90. Okay, so yeah, I guess Winkle's coming back to the 90 for that team. All right. Make a note of that. Remember that I have to update the drivers list on Facebook as well. All right. Yeah, there's some other things that I'm gonna be putting together. Obviously, like I said, and if other developments take place, I'll have another hot stove talk show and all that. I may end up having a hot stove talk show as well, where you guys will be helping me put together the season 7 Hershey's Cup Series schedule, because there are some tracks that were good, some tracks that were bad, some tracks I want to add, some tracks I want to subtract. We'll see if that's something we'll do at some point. Uh, kind of have you guys get some input as well. All right, I just saw, what is this? Voiles, I don't know if you're still watching. I saw your name over in the chat. If you have made, I'll just explain this real quickly. If you have made a race car for the Monster Energy 17 mod, and it's a Ford, if you do it on a Ford, if you do it on a Toyota, you can transfer them actually over onto the Monster Energy Cup Series 8. It's the same template. 18 rather. It's the same template. The only difference between 17 and 18 is the Chevy Camaro template. So, if you've done it on a Ford, it's going to still fit into the game. It's still going to work. The only thing that I would probably just do is put the Hershey's Cup Series banner and logo on the side. But aside from that, I mean, if it's on a Ford or a Toyota, you're fine. You can do that on the Monster Energy 17 mod, and it'll transfer over. It's if you did it on a Chevy, you would absolutely have to do it on a Monster Energy Cup Series 18 template. But I just saw about a little less than 10 minutes ago, expect an announcement made from CJ Racing shortly on the Facebook page. So you'll want to check over on Facebook, see what's going on over there. That's interesting. So, okay, and we've got a third truck for Monster Motorsports next season. They've got the 77 sponsored by Monster Energy, the 07 sponsored by Caterpillar, and now the number 21. All right. Chris John just posted in 2003 and gaming. Let's quickly see what this is, because this might have a bearing on the hot stove news. Oh, wow. Okay, well, this changes a lot. Okay, I'll just read it right off. Breaking news: Season 2 Hershey's Cup Series champion Chris Dodd to retire. He's going to be retiring at the end of the upcoming season, and the team will be shut down. Wow. Okay, so looks like this will be the final year for CJ Racing. So no word yet on what their plans are in trying to get the charter necessary for Chris Dollarton to be part of the team, but looks like it's going to be the last year for CJ Racing. Looks like it's the last year for Jake Baskinger with Flying Aces Racing. Sometimes the swan song seasons, they can sometimes pan out to the benefit. Case in point, Joshua Michaels, his swan song season in Hershey's Cup back in season 5. He made it into the Final Four, was in the hunt for the championship. And of course, this past season, Brooke Allen announced she wouldn't be returning to the Hershey's Cup Series. And what happened? She won the championship. So we'll see what develops in that. Okay, so yeah, nothing in terms of the Chris Dolce situation. If we find out what happens in that, you'll find out as well on the next episode of Nnscra Hot Stove Talk Show. But thanks everybody for tuning in. All those other cars that I've been working on, I will try and get renders of and probably show you also in the next episode. And like I said, this isn't a daily thing. These will be popping up randomly, probably in the mornings on certain days when I have nothing to do. But like I said, I think the next thing that's on tap for me is basically putting together. I think first I'm going to put together is an outro, a new outro for the end of the videos, and then I will, whenever I have enough paint schemes, I will be putting together the intro, which is going to be a combination again of the trucks, Pizza Hut X, and Hershey's Cup Series in the intro. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to have, like, at the end, have like the 3 series show on the bottom, and then have one jump up at the front of the screen like I did back at the intros for season 5, or if I'm going to actually put each specific logo at the end of each one of the intros like I did last season. But I have come up with the music that I'm going to use for it. The music itself will make the intro, I believe it's about a little over a minute long, 1 minute 5 seconds, and hopefully this time you guys will actually be able to not have it blocked. I think it had like where you couldn't monetize it or something because there was like a copyright thing with the intro music. This one I think is non-copyright, so that'll hopefully be a good thing too. But anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in here. Thanks to everybody's input in the comments and everything. And yeah, like I said, next time maybe we'll put together a schedule for Hershey's Cup. But until then, I've been Seth Cole, and we'll see you guys next time as the hot stove continues here on Nnscra during the off season. Bye, guys.